What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. Now, Mauricio Sulaiman was being interviewed and he was being asked about Tyson Fury possibly fighting against Anthony Joshua, the situation, stipulations, all that. He was very evasive. He didn't want to answer anything straight up. He was telling the guy, "You're trying to trap me and trick me into saying something." And he basically was trying to not say anything that he can be held accountable for. Um, Tyson Fury now, because of the surgery. Now I don't know why everybody's acting like it's something new. We got word um, shortly after the fight, maybe the same or the following week. I think it was the same week that Deontay Wilder was getting surgery on his left bicep. You remember at the end of the fight, they showed Deontay Wilder laying down. He had the ice up here. So we got word months ago that Deontay Wilder was going to have a surgery. One of the videos I did, I said I don't think it's wise for Deontay Wilder to try to jump back in there thinking he's pleasing his fans, or let his anger get the best of him and he jump in there and he's not ready, because basically I don't think he would have been ready. I think he would have got his ass whooped again. I still think he's gonna lose. We'll see. But just physically, okay, it's one thing even when you're like shadow boxing, you're trying to gradually get back, but when you start getting into it and you guys are tussling around and you're throwing hard shots and missing and landing, and it's different. It's different. So I didn't think it would be wise for him to just try to rush and get back in there. Make sure he's 100% first. Now, one of the other problems is Dillian White has been number one for well over 1,000 days now, well over, and the guy was mandatory. It was taken from him. It's like going to work, getting paid, but being told, "Hey, after 6 months, you get a raise. 6 months come, no raise. Another 3 months, you'll get a raise. Another 3 months come, this is 9 months now, no raise. Whole year go by, no raise. But yet they keep telling you it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. So I mean, it's like, where's my reward, man? Where's what what I'm owed? I've done everything you asked. I've been employee of the month. I've been this. I've been that. I mean, hell, where's the promotion? What I'm saying? So that's basically the situation Dylan White's in. I mean, how long has does the man have to wait? So now we've been told Dylan White is the mandatory. So no matter who wins, Wilder or Fury, they have to fight Dillian White. But now Tyson Fury saying, well, if they're gonna just keep pushing the fight back, he doesn't, he's not interested in waiting just to fight Wilder. He's saying he want to tune up. Guys asking him, well, what about Anthony Joshua? I mean, that's the mega fight everybody want to see. He even asked Mauricio Sulaiman, well, he has mandatory, have to fight is mandatory. So if he doesn't fight Dillian White, will he be stripped and made the silver champion? Mauricio Sulaiman tried to duck and dodge he didn't want to say anything. Now, let's go back to when I made a video saying I don't really think much of this whole silver champion. Okay, not silver champion, franchise champion. Because let's be realistic. He had a whole lot to say and bigged up the whole movement when he put it on Canelo. And he said, now we know that they don't have to accept it. There's a sanctioning fee and all that, which I don't understand, because it's not a title, not even a physical title. And you can't lose it. So you can be franchise champion, go get the hell beat out of you. You're still franchise champion. The person that defeats you don't become franchise champion. And let's be realistic about something, okay? Tyson Fury is a solid fighter. But according to Mauricio Sulaiman, he says someone who's dedicated their life to boxing, has been a great representative of the WBC and has done this and done that. Okay, is Tyson Fury capable of beating the other heavyweights that's out there, the other top guys? Yeah, he's capable. But here's the deal. Let's look at his resume in this sense. Tyson Fury has never had one title defense. His first title reign, okay, he got stripped because he wouldn't fight, went into depression, all this stuff happened, and so basically he had no title defenses. Now, he's lineal champion. And he talked about being lineal champion like like it's the same as holding the WBC, the IBF as being unified or, undisputed. He's had no title defenses. He just got the title from Deontay Wilder. So basically, I think these guys don't want to really perform in front of a small crowd. I think that has a huge effect on why we're not seeing certain fights or why certain fights that should have happened didn't happen. And I really don't want to keep talking about things like with Dylan White's situation. We're talking about things that should have happened a long time ago that possibly still might not happen. So if Tyson Fury, now truthfully, Tyson Fury, if he doesn't fight as mandatory, he should be stripped if he doesn't do it. So if he's willing to be stripped, then go fight Anthony Joshua, I mean, I don't see that. I really don't see that as making much sense. And that's a mega fight, right? So, right. Do you think that those two really want to fight in front of an empty audience? Now, we know Eddie Hearn is setting up the fight in his backyard, right? He wanted to do this where at least now they can have an audience. It's not, just an empty arena. It's not going to be the same thing, but, it would have a better feel to it than just an empty arena. I mean, I've seen empty arena matches. I've watched the NBA empty arena. I mean, it's not the same feel, man. It just, honestly, it's like watching a YouTube video. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel big. It doesn't feel like something special. Okay. Anyway. So, if he does have this so-called tune-up fight, I'm pretty sure this tune-up fight will be with somebody that's not even worth fighting, just something to keep the ring rust out or just to, keep sharp. But at the same time, if you can do that, the fact that you are a big name, you're one of the champions in boxing, in heavyweight boxing, and then you decide that you don't want to wait, and if you do, you want to tune up, well, the next fight you should have. Now, don't get me wrong, right? That's why I said before, people will say, oh, he could be sued. No. I remember before Mauricio Sulaiman said, and Bob Arum said that, he said that it was Mauricio Sulaiman. It was something Bob Arum was saying, and somebody made a video out of it and was talking about what Bob Arum said. But Mauricio Sulaiman said, man, that's just an agreement, a verbal agreement between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. There's no actual contracted agreement that they have to have a third fight. So it's like people hear this information and they forget it because they start saying a whole lot of other things. And Mauricio Sulaiman is showing, I think he has motives that he doesn't really want to, like I said, he doesn't want to be held accountable for. Because he was talking, which I agree, he said the promoters start saying things and making claims and then they start arguing and everybody's saying this and that. But here's the deal, right? You are the WBC president or whatever, okay? These guys are making these inquiries, they're doing all these things, come up with what's what without even talking to you about it, and then you just basically sit back and you're allowing this to go on. Well, look, here's the reality though, okay? For Tyson Fury to win the heavyweight championship twice, yeah, it's an accomplishment. Can't take that from him, but at the same time, as far as him becoming a franchise champion, I don't think he's done enough according to Mauricio Sulaiman's requirements. Because think about it. What if you look at his resume, okay, he's beaten Derek Chisora, he's beaten Deontay Wilder, he's beaten Vladimir Klitschko. So he has, 3 names on there that we can say like these guys, well, definitely Klitschko, but in Wilder as a champ, he beat Wilder, yeah, all three of them. So these are worthy names. So around the rest of his resume, not so impressive. But at the same time, it's like, what has he done? What has he done to become franchise champion? You see what I'm saying? So the fact that you just play eeny, meeny, miny, mo, okay, let's go with this guy. No, what is he? He hasn't done enough. He hasn't. I mean, what? He hasn't done enough. And if he would be stripped, and then he would be granted this whole franchise champion situation, well, we know that it's different with the heavyweights because these guys are not going up and down in weight. You're just going to be a heavyweight. So how does this benefit you? It gives you the ability to pick and choose who you want to fight. The other party has to want to. They have to agree, right? The guy you're challenging. So like, how would this even? What would it matter? I see this whole franchise championship thing. I don't feel like it was well thought out, and I don't see it even being something that really is going to make a difference in a positive way. And I believe now wouldn't it be funny if Mauricio Sulaiman dodged these questions because he was asked, would it be possible he gets stripped and then made franchise champion? And he didn't want to speak, and he dodged it completely. Didn't want to say anything because if that actually happens, that they make him franchise champion, again, like I just stated, what does it do for the better? It gives him immunity to say, nah, I don't want to fight him. I want to fight this guy. You know what? Nah, forget him. I know I said I was going to fight him, but let me fight that guy instead. I mean, I don't see how this benefits. I really don't. Especially being a heavyweight. Because even like with Canelo can pick and choose what weight division he wants to go in. He can say, hey, you know what? Let me go. Okay, I'm going to fight Charlo at 168. You know what? Let me go back down to 154. And, he can do that. Let me go back up to 175. As a heavyweight, what are you going to do? I don't see a heavyweight dropping down a cruiser or a light heavyweight just to do it. Like, I mean, for what? I don't get how these people are coming up with all these different scenarios. Nothing's happening. This is why I'm not really talking about. I'm not really talking about the supposed fights that's supposed to happen. I'm not doing too much talk about that because we just keep hearing all this. This guy's gonna fight this guy. This guy said this guy can't beat him. This guy said you have to fight me or else. This guy said this, but there's no dates for these particular fights. No times, no venues. All we hear is he said, she said. So I think like in this situation, for me, just thinking about it, I don't feel like Tyson Fury is afraid of Deontay. I mean, why would he be afraid of him? I think he was handpicked. I think they picked each other because I felt like Deontay Wilder felt like this dude been sitting up on the couch ballooning, doing drugs, depressed. Ain't no way he's gonna come back and beat me. And I believe that Fury looked at Wilder like, man, he's a one-trick pony. We know about the right hand, but hey, I'm slick enough to box and not let him land that shot. I can beat this guy. Now, for all of the people that may think different, hey, you tied to your opinions. But even though Fury talks this stuff about, Wilder would knock out Dylan White and knock out AJ, listen, he's never fought those two guys. Okay, he sparred with AJ, but he's never fought them. So he wants to give himself credit. Because think about this. He breaks down Deontay Wilder and calls him a one-trick pony. Called him a bum before they fight. You're a bum. You're a bum. If I can't beat you, I'm a bum. What is he going to, I was just sent at the hype to fight. Calling the man a bum. He knows Dylan White and AJ both have more in their arsenal than Deontay Wilder does. Wilder, like I said before, you don't have to worry about the hook, the uppercut, the left hand, the body shots. It's just the right hand. That's what he always gets you is the right hand. And I feel like he felt like it's an easier fight against that guy. Then, of course, Fury is 1 minute the most devastating puncher in heavyweight boxing history. Then all of a sudden, he's a bum. He has nothing but a right hand. You understand what I'm saying? So, it is what it is on that. But for Tyson Fury to decide that, okay, they keep pushing it back, and he feel like he want to warm up, why I'm against it is because Dylan White deserves a shot, man. It's as simple as that. Dylan White deserves a shot. And Dylan White has been overlooked and pushed aside for way too long. So even that warm-up fight, that tune-up fight, wouldn't even be a title shot. It wouldn't even be a title match. But it's like, no, it's not like you're doing an exhibition. It's going to be a fight that will go on his record as it. So I'm against that. If he decided he was wanting to do an exhibition just to keep, get the cobwebs out or whatever, keep fresh, keep sharp. Okay, cool. But nah, you need to be fighting Dylan White if you're not going to fight Wilder. And believe me, he needs to fight Dylan White before he fight AJ. So with or without the Wilder fight, you need to fight Dylan White. But you decide that you want to go through with the Wilder fight and get through it. And understand, y'all, it's because of the time frame that he's saying, I'm not going to sit back and worry. I'm not going to wait for Wilder. He's not saying all of a sudden, I changed my mind. I don't want to fight Wilder no more. It's because the dates that's been set has been postponed. So now it's like they're talking about next year, and it's like, nah, I'm not going to sit back and wait. So I can understand that. But if he said, nah, I'm not going to sit back and wait for Wilder, here's the deal. I want Dylan White. After I beat Dylan White, then I'll go beat Wilder again. Hopefully he's ready this time. But not just, I'm not going to fight Wilder. I'm not going to wait that long. Okay, but then I'm going to go fight a tune-up. And then after that tune-up, try to slide here with AJ. No. And that's why I was saying before, he can't get stripped for not fighting Wilder or sued because it's not contracted. It's just a verbal agreement that they made. And that's been said. So I don't know why everybody's losing their head and forgetting this. But I just feel like he needs to fight, regardless if he have a third fight or not with Wilder. He needs to fight Dylan White then. And basically, because think about this. If Dylan White wins that fight, right? Let's say that he don't wait for Wilder, right? And he fights Dylan White. And let's say Dylan White beats him. Let's say, okay, Dylan White beats Povetkin. Then say Dylan White beats Fury. Well, who's next for Dylan White? Because in fairness, let's think about it. Look at how long Dylan White had to fight. Had to wait to get his shot. So now, is it really fair to Dylan White though? Now I'm not saying get it and then just start fighting some nobodies. No, which is a lot of times fighters do that. Get the title, fight some lesser ranked fighters to get some money, and a lot of times the upset happens. But is it really fair that he gets the title and the first two people that start barking at him is Fury or Deontay Wilder when both of them have been clearly avoiding him? Dylan White showed the guys at the Zone a text message that Wilder sent him saying, I will freeze you out for 2 years. Every time, every time Dylan White makes noise about fighting Fury, 1 minute I would love nothing more than to, punch his face, and then go accomplish something first. You've done nothing in your career. When you think about it, okay, look at who Dylan White's been fighting, and Dylan White's been active, and he had a couple of fights where he got robbed. That's boxing, man. So for the idiots that go, oh well, he got hurt by such and such. Yeah, he did get hurt against Joseph Parker. That 12th round when he just hunched over and kept grabbing the ref. I don't know what the hell that was about. But so what? He got rocked. Fight it happens. It's boxing. Dylan White is deserving of his shot. But I know if he get that WBC title, first two people that's going to start running their mouth about fighting him is the same two people who won't fight him now. But then people keep talking about, oh, like Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is not ready. He's not ready. What the fuck you mean he's not ready? The guy, look, first off, everybody want to see these so-called super fights. The only reason people are saying it about Daniel Dubois is because he doesn't have that power behind his name yet. If people was making a big deal about Daniel Dubois, if he was appealing to people and had that Canelo effect or that AJ effect, nobody would be saying that shit. Because let's be real, okay? It's not about age. It's about the experience you have. You could be 16 and a motherfucker could be 28. That 16-year-old might whoop that 28-year-old's ass. He might be that skilled. It's not about his age. How many fights did AJ have when he won the championship? 16? You know, 15 or 16 when he won the championship. Daniel Dubois is dangerous. And yeah, he got room to, improve and get better. They all do. But I mean, how much longer does he need to wait? See, they say we're not getting the big fights, but then you want to wait till a guy turns 30 fucking years old to finally give him a title shot. You want to, look, Daniel Dubois is dangerous. These guys know this. Believe it. They can talk all they want. They can call him a kid. They know that guy's dangerous. Now, we're not talking about Efe Njamba, man. Somebody who's clearly just green. Somebody clearly just you can see like this guy. Nah, if you give him a top 10 guy now, top 5 especially, he's going to lose. Even the top 10 guy, because Efe Njamba has power. And he's learning. The thing about him is he knows what he needs to improve on. He spoke about these things. So he's learning and he understands that, hey, I can be beat. Let me move though. But even he, had made some noise saying things about AJ at one time. So we're not talking about Efe Njamba, okay? A guy like, what's the other guy? That's supposed to fight Daniel Dubois in the fight, because of COVID, nothing happened. Forget his name, but this guy, Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is already in his 30s. I don't see Joe Joyce, to be honest with you, as being like world championship material. I don't. And I said this would be a good test for Daniel Dubois to see how he does against Joe Joyce. And a lot of people are saying it's 50-50 fight. And a lot of people saying, oh, I picked Joe Joyce because of the experience. I think Daniel Dubois will beat him. I think he'll knock him out. I think Joe Joyce is too slow. He's too predictable. You can see his shots coming. And he's easy to hit. And I just think, personally, hopefully we get to see the fight. Personally, I think Daniel Dubois is going to beat him. And I think that he's going to destroy him, personally. At the end of the day, though, Dillian Whyte needs his shot. And if Tyson Fury is not going to fight Deontay Wilder, the fact that they already said the winner of Fury and Wilder has to automatically fight Whyte, then that should be the stipulation as well. Since it's a verbal contract, so he's not breaking anything, okay, cool. You don't want to fight Wilder because Wilder, it won't be ready to 2021, okay, cool. Then you have to fight Dillian Whyte. And if not, he'll get stripped. Now, if Dillian Whyte was to get the belt off of a strip, because I'm going to be honest with you, it would be unfair to say, now as fight fans, people would rather see Dillian Whyte win the title from someone. But to be honest with you, just like they gave it to Lennox Lewis because Riddick Bowe threw the title in the trash, I think that if he avoids Dillian Whyte and he goes to try to fight someone else, I think that he should be stripped. And I think that Dillian Whyte, if that was to happen, that Dillian Whyte should be awarded the title. And, I know nobody wants to see him win it that way. Me personally, I'd rather see the fight itself. But, I mean, look at the rules, man. He is mandatory. And he's been mandatory. And, they never stripped Deontay when he was champ, even though he was never mandatory. Well, here's the thing. The term mandatory is like these terms don't mean anything unless they honor them. Because they'll have, he was not just number one contender. I remember them saying he was mandatory. Then all of a sudden it was, no, he's not mandatory, he's number one contender. Well, goddamn, how long do you have to be number one contender? Like, how many fights do you need to have? You're here, the mandatory that Deontay Wilder had, we know was Bermane Stiverne and Dominic Breazeale, which, I mean, come on, man. But at the same time, here's a guy in Dillian Whyte who's been busting his ass in the heavyweight division, has one loss to the unified champion. Look at Dillian Whyte's resume. I think he has the second best resume in heavyweight boxing, next to AJ. So when you look at these stipulations and these rules and regulations, but then yet it's not enforced unless they want them to. Don't be surprised, people, if Mauricio Sulaiman, they let the talk die down and he try to stay away from these things because, like I said, conversations are forgotten. So when you don't address something, it's easy to forget. Don't be shocked if one day we hear Tyson Fury is now named WBC franchise champion. And I just don't see how this benefits boxing. I just don't see how it does. I just don't. And if you understand what this franchise champion is, I broke it down already. I broke it down in other videos. I don't see this being something that the sport even needs. It's not because it's new, it's different. No, it's just not well thought out, man. I mean, what is the purpose? And if not Tyson Fury, well, who else do you have in mind as WBC franchise champion? Now, mind you, you don't have to have a title to become franchise champion. So who else is it that they look at as a heavyweight and say they think this guy should be franchise champion? I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I don't think much of the idea. I don't even like the idea. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say on this video, and I will catch y'all on the next one.